what basically what we presented to them.
But we just don't have the formal letter.
Right.
Thank you. And
They are waiting to have the complete thing written all the way up.
Pretty good, aren't I?
They want to go over it
I
before they
will
sign.
have to admit it.
So, that's what I think our whole
I
is
know.
at this point.
Well, I just know we tabled it last week and I'd like to get that done and in the budget.
Well, we know that's what's gonna be done.
Yeah.
But get the damn thing done. I will call. I thought about 3 o'clock yesterday. I didn't think I wanted to disturb it.
I was busy reading Dean's assessment.
Yeah, no, I wasn't then, but
Yeah, that read pretty good for a while, and then pretty soon it was like, oh, God, this is boring, and then it would be okay for a little bit, and then,
Yeah, it's pretty boring.
it was up and down. There was some really good info in it, and then it's,
I have not gotten through the first time.
yeah, I'd like to read it again. I didn't print mine out, I read it all.
No, I can't do that.
Big documents like that, I like.
A couple of the
to
charts,
read it,
I
highlight.
didn't make the charts, I'll read them again. But, you know, there is quite a few things we really don't do. I was surprised
Well,
at that.
Yeah, that's probably the most surprising thing is, there are options. There are things that we can do.
And the home healthcare aid or the healthcare aides, that's something on the horizon that we need to watch out at.
Yeah, I mean, he was really strong about that as far as keeping the home healthcare aides going because that keeps people out of nursing homes. Period. Yeah, the more that you can do there, I think that's what he was saying was the biggest thing.
If everybody would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, everyone. First thing we need to do is take care of the minutes from Monday, February 7th, 2022.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as presented.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I did that backwards. We're supposed to approve the agenda. See any changes there? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I will second.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, item number 1, ambulance fiscal year 23 budget review. Morning, Jamie.
Morning. I had Courtney send out kind of a history of what I came up with and why I did what I did with the budget. Some of the biggest stuff's going to be the capital for the ambulance and the cots, and we kind of talked about that when we went through the ambulance purchase. I was going to do that. I basically raised the ambulance capital budget up 15%, and then the other one is just over 15% with $3,000 extra. The fuel prices are going up. Transfers right now are steady, but we've had months where they've been up quite a bit. So I'm just kind of preparing for that. The only other big change would be with the phone and internet. There was a price increase the end of last year, and they sent out another notice. There's going to be another price increase. I've been talking with Dalton about options for that because we currently have 2 internet services coming in from Western Iowa Networks. We're going to try to condense that down to 1, but as of right now, it has to stay how it is. I'm going to do a change on the cell phones as well. Going to go with FirstNet. It's who the sheriffs carry. Basically, if there's a big incident, it gives us priority over everybody else to use those lines available. The cost is very similar, and then we could also get rid of the Verizon part that's in the radios. So that's about $1,200 difference there. And then later on, I got a Geocom as a tracking software that they use with the ambulances. We don't use it. I mean, I reached out to a couple to see if we need it with like Jason, and he says, you really don't. There's other ways to track an ambulance if we so choose. But other than that, everything's kind of staying near same or a little bit lower. With all the payroll stuff, I just, according to what we tentatively agreed on, brought those up to match that. Questions on them?
Can you speak to a little bit to that GEMT revenue?
Right now, I think the last time that I had it added up is, which I showed you guys, we were about $80,000 paid more, but we also have what we paid out to GMT. Right now, it's looking like we're gonna be about roughly $50,000 ahead, sitting at this point.
The projected revenue.
Yes,
That basically coding.
well, it depends on the insurance carrier that they have, and it's with some of the coding, and they pay like a flat fee back to us in addition to like the insurance. So I believe it's $821 extra. But by the time you take out their share and then we have the PCG, it adds up to be about $563 that we make extra on a certain call. It's not on every call, it's just on Medicaid, Title 19.
So do they get the reimbursement when you guys do transfers? Does that come through GEMT also?
Yeah, the way I understand it, it goes right into our account from them.
And that
then-
was money we weren't getting before.
Right. And then they send us a bill monthly for that service essentially.
We're basically paying for what the state is supposed to be paying. The way I understood when they sold that program. We're paying that money up and that generates us, we're getting more back in return.
Right.
From
And it's a
state.
lot of it's done is the way you bill more than anything.
Yeah, I mean, you have different levels of calls and that's something else I'm looking at is to see, looking at with Roxy to see if we're billing everything correctly. And we think that going through some things.
And you're right, and it's the way the level of call. Different levels pay a better rates.
Have the collections went up or they stayed about the same?
As far as collections of non-payers,
Yeah,
they seem to be about the same. We
because it's a matter of, you don't want to always be first.
Right. Yeah, and we work with them. We've got many of the patients that are on payment plans and stuff as far as,
We always had that before when I was.
there's not very often that we ever have to write anything off. Generally, the only ones I've been involved in since I've taken over is deaths.
Is there any reason why you left the employment group insurance money?
I had brought that up according to the calculation I got from Courtney, and I don't know why she didn't send it back out that way.
Okay,
But I put it in there. I just added up what she sent me for the sheet and then.
because is that the difference on, I guess I'm just looking at what, your budget was a year ago and what it is now, and,
If I remember correctly, I put in $186,000 there.
okay.
And it was the 184,
She didn't move that to a different place, did she?
not that she told me. But I know when I sent the sheet back to her, I had it filled in from the calculation that I had.
You would know anything about that, wouldn't
No, very fun.
Change until Wednesday at 9 o'clock instead of 10 o'clock.
Yeah, you got it on your worksheet, 104,000.
Yeah, that's what I had sent back to her. But I don't know if there was something that changed or she normally doesn't send it back that way, but I would assume it's part of the budget. But I can ask her that. She's out of town, so.
Dean, what you're referring to is from page 3, those two numbers from fiscal year 23, I assume 2021 to 2023.
As far as the insurance goes,
No, just the difference in the budget, total budget.
Yeah. It's lower in Fund 36. This would be.
Does anybody have any more questions?
It looks like from what your activity for the half year, you're pretty well on as far as revenue.
Right. Doesn't seem like that changes a whole lot. GMT is gonna change that a little bit, but this is kind of we've got roughly 7 months into it now, so until we know a little bit more, have a little bit more track history, I don't think we should change it a lot more. Or we need to.
That's very concerning.
So you think that your insurance bill would be about 186,000?
Well, that's what I calculated as
Yeah.
from what the sheet that she gave me.
Yeah.
So
Because I mean, that kind of makes sense when you add that back in and your increases in salaries.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes more sense, I think.
Jamie, you also alluded to you're changing your money we put away for future ambulances.
yeah.
We've been a little short last time, and now we're shorter probably this time.
Yeah, so like we talked when we were going through the ambulance stuff in that meeting was we used some funds from basically this ambulance, what we're supposed to be having for this ambulance. And then the price increases. So they're basically going up 10% on both the equipment and the ambulance stuff. So I did 15% to catch us back up and to prepare for the next, because it may be something that I'll reach out next year at this time or prior to the budget, but to find out if there's been any more increases. So we might have to adjust it next year too.
And I don't think we can say there will be no increases anymore. I think we're looking at probably double digit for quite a while.
Right.
Okay, very good. Good
Anybody
thing.
have any more questions? Thanks, Jamie.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Have a good rest of the day.
Thanks.
All right, second item on the agenda is to approve payables. Does everybody have time to look through those? Dean, I had a question in the Board of Health, but I think I kind of figured out the St. Anthony's on 214. PHN. Page 3.
Yeah. I'm trying to get there. Yeah, that's what's paid every.
Every month,
Is that it right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dean, can you tell me what the vehicle repair, was that one I got crushed?
Yeah, Jason sent me an
That's on the
Email.
tree fell one or?
email on that one, so I can explain that.
Oh, the conservation.
There is one claim for the Conservation Board this time that I wanted to make sure everyone's aware of. During the last big windstorm, we had a tree in the campground fall and hit one of the trucks. There was a claim for Team Ford for the repairs to that truck. Courtney already received the insurance check for the repairs and would be putting it back into the budget when you guys approve your next budget amendment. Just wanted you to be aware that what that claim to Team Ford was. We went to Team Ford because they are the only Ford body shop around that will work on aluminum bodies on these Ford trucks. The only local body shop that would even consider fixing it was Witt Products, and they were booked out until the end of February and early March. So
That's right, a lot of them are made with aluminum now. Changes the
yeah, the
game.
Fords, yeah.
Changes the game.
So that's that. I think that should answer that question. Well, anyway,
Does anybody know, I see we had 2 salt sheds repairs here.
Yeah.
What's the deal there? How's that? I thought maybe he was gonna be here.
Are you referring to there's one in there for 6,600 I have
There's
highlighted.
one Coon Rabbits and one for.
I vaguely remember him talking about the big
Salt
ones.
shed. Didn't they spray something on?
Well, this is with that, out to the, county. Active steel.
I think I added steel to the exterior.
Did they have
Put
a,
new hoop,
yeah, one of they put new canvas
new
on it?
hoops over the top, or they put a hoop over the top and they never had it. I don't know. I don't remember any conversation about that.
He did, he had brought up that there were some repairs that needed to happen on our off-site locations, but I can't quite remember what it was. I should have called him yesterday, but. Would you guys like me to call him now?
Would you say you thought they did?
There was 2 off-site locations for secondary roads that he had mentioned needed repairs for a very, very long time. We just kind of let him go. And then he went and did them this year.
Well, I'm sure they're legit. I mean,
Yeah,
we can ask them later.
I saw the concrete crushings finished.
98,000.
Yeah, oof,
It's a big amount.
it is. All right, does anybody have any more questions on the payables?
No, I'll make a motion to approve.
In order for a second. There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up, we have a plat.
It's done by your way, Gene.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm drawing a blank.
Spore.
Oh, yeah. John should know that. Yeah, that was the expansion. That's outside the city limits right now. I'm assuming it'll probably annex. Because that will be another plan to put up at least one, if not 2 more barrel warehouses down there. Just to the east of Timothy. I know they've done soil bore or soil boring really. I think.
Will that runoff go into that retainment pond? Also,
Huh?
will the runoff from those buildings go into that retainment?
That depends on how they landscape it. I doubt it. Because after that point, it starts falling to the east.
Do you remember how big the buildings are, or approximately? But, well, I mean, that can create a runoff.
I think
issue.
they're
Okay, they're not that big.
they're as big as the one that's the
Okay, they're not
main.
15, 16 acres that are in the rough, so. Okay. Those create. Okay,
At least that's my understanding. Unless they do decide to make one bigger. But I know that's the plan. I'll make a motion to approve the plan.
I'll second that motion.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4 is Manning Day Care Center fiscal 23 funding request. Do we know if somebody coming for that?
I have no idea. To my knowledge.
Should skip it.
Well, I'll just wait till later on.
Okay, see if they
In case
show up.
they- Usually they show up,
Yeah.
Okay.
but I think they're mine's correct right now.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll go down to item number 5, the Carroll County Down Payment Assistance Program 20-HSGB-001. From my understanding, Courtney just says we need to change the signature authorization for this program.
Is that right, Emily?
Yes.
So part of signature is they're part of a claim to.
Yeah, and then approve draw number 7.
who's on the signature now?
Well,
I think it was
change-
GSG, yeah.
we need to change that. I'll make a motion to approve the change of the author's signature authorization.
Right.
Stephanie Nelson.
There's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We want to approve draw number 7. And that request for the development block grant for the housing would be $32,439.
And that won't be paid until we received that money from feds, I believe.
So I mean, it sounds like it's just a pass through.
It's a pass-through, yes. That's how I,
And I think this program has been very, very beneficial to Carroll County.
I make a motion that we approve draw number 7.
I'll second.
Been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
And I agree that it's been beneficial. Matter of fact, we added a second program due to that fact.
Yeah. And it's just a pass-through for us and benefits the residents.
All right. Item number 6, fiscal year 23 county budget discussion.
We have got, I assume she wants to talk about preliminary budget. Right?
Yeah, so there was a couple items, the nonprofits, which obviously those are still not completely finalized yet. And then also the pay increase for Zach. That was it. We're waiting on union negotiations.
Well, that, yeah, that's thinking, I mean, we're just a matter of getting paid for it.
The assumptions are adding one person to the comp center.
Yep.
Another assumption is nonprofits. And then the other one is head of maintenance, 8.2% versus the 5.5. For all other county employees.
The first thing I want to talk about is St. Anthony's.
She just, well, last time I talked to her, she was putting in exactly what was in her, exact. And she says, really, that's not saying anything, it's actually public health.
I think we need to change that
Is
line
it- is
item.
it just a terminology? Because so we haven't seen hide nor hair of them yet, and that's kind
Yeah,
of unusual.
the last couple of years,
Yeah,
actually.
the COVID year I get, but this year I kind of like expected maybe we'd see them.
But they are our subcontract of public health. I think they would come in, give a budget.
Do you know if public health is planning on continuing that project?
Well,
for-
you know, I think it's something that we should probably continue to budget for. You know, whether or not, we don't know how this is all going to shake out probably,
Yeah,
but I think we should budget for it. I think.
probably at least.
And when she told me she put the same on last year.
Well, I think according to John Munson, when he was here several months ago, they weren't planning on raising that 70,000.
Yeah, I didn't get that drift either.
So I think we could assume that it's 70,000 still. But I agree, it should say almost public health.
You know, and, you know, I don't know
Would
if
it
we're
still be-
talking, are we talking about item number 6 or number 7?
We're gonna start with 6, so that, this
Oh,
can
I'm
get brought
sorry.
up on
I'm
7.
sorry, I
No, you're fine.
didn't read down further. but-
Well, and I probably made miscommunication there by throwing all the things we're supposed to talk about. Why don't we start with the,
So we just need to determine those 3 things. Is that what kind of,
Well,
Here comes
number
the money now.
6 goes in, or number 6, we're on, according to Courtney, nonprofit funding, same as last year.
Land up here if you want to, Brad.
I just see
Pardon me?
right here.
You can land up here. Go to the table right away.
hot seat?
Are you the only one coming?
Yeah, unfortunately,
That's fine, that's fine.
Michelle, our director, she's resigned. She's taking a new job.
Okay, why don't we put on hold and we'll go
So
back to
I'm-
item number 4?
Yeah.
Well, good morning.
Oh, good morning. I've been here before, but some of you haven't seen me because I haven't probably been here for a few years, but
Think I'm a slacker, really.
yeah. Well, during COVID, I'm not sure if Michelle had to come or not, but Michelle, as I said, Michelle Starman is she was our very fine director, but she's unfortunately taken a new position at the hospital, so we're looking for a new director. I think we found one, fortunately, but anyway, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come and talk to you about the Manning Child Care Center.
Would you like introductions if you don't, do you know all of us?
Oh, yeah, we could do that. I think I kind of follow you a little bit.
Dean Shetler.
Yes, I know.
I'm Emily. I'm just filling in for Courtney. She's gone. So
Oh.
Courtney's the auditor. So I'm just
Okay.
filling in.
All right.
Stephanie Hausman.
Yeah,
Rich Ruggles.
I know Rick.
Scott Johnson.
Yes,
Gene Miners.
yes, I know most of you.
Okay.
So, anyway, nice to meet you. You guys do very fine work. You have very important work, certainly. And, well, this year, we're excited. We'll be celebrating our 20th year, our 20th anniversary of the Manning Child Care Center. And I don't know if most of you are aware, the Manning Child Care Center is an umbrella organization of the Manning Betterment Foundation. The Manning Betterment Foundation, you know, over 20 years ago, realized how important daycare was to our community and to the economic development in our community and the surrounding community. So they had the good forethought to open up a child care center, which is been very successful in Manning. You know, it's taken a long time to get to where we are financially. You know, I think it's only been in the last, like I said, this is our 20th year, but it's only been in the last probably half a dozen years, maybe, that we've actually been profitable. And the Betterment Foundation still subsidizes us in that we don't have to, the building that we occupy, we don't pay any rent. So that helps us out dramatically, but you know, I certainly want to thank you for your past and hopefully continued support of our child care center. And I know you support other child care centers in the county. So I think you guys also realize how important child care is. And, you know, we all face the same battles. You know, we're fortunate that we can, with what we pay, you know, all of our staff, they're all overworked, underpaid. We don't provide any benefits of any kind. So I hate to say it, but it's hard for me to, as somebody who runs the business, it's hard for me to imagine how we can even get people to work there for what we pay, to tell you the truth. I mean, the reality of it is the people that work there do so because they love children. Like I said, it certainly isn't because of the great pay or benefits. And, you know, Manila is just opening up a daycare later this month, and which is great. You know, it's great for Manila. I think any community that has one, it's great for their community. But, you know, they poached 3 of our employees. So not only are we looking for a director, we're also looking for 3 additional employees. And, you know, because of how it works with the state, we have to maintain ratios. You know, we have to have a teacher in certain age group rooms. And if we don't have a teacher, then we can't have those kids come in. So, you know, it's just a struggle.
It is.
It is, I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to expect people to come and try to work for wages like that.
But then you run into the problem, if you increase their wages, you have to inevitably hand that off to the parents, and then the parents
Oh,
start to
yes,
think about
yeah,
increases in their daycare, and then do you have one work, one not work?
yeah, I mean,
It's
it's
tough.
it's a challenge.
It is.
You know, we're very fortunate in that we have our treasurers, Abby Stengel, who's the CFO of the Cass County Memorial Hospital. So we have excellent financial statements that we work off of. And Michelle Starman has been our director for like 15 years. Has just done a marvelous job. So, but it's a challenge. Let me tell you that. You know, and when people call in sick for work, you know, at 5 in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, then we've got to try to get help. Or if we don't have enough staff, you know, we have to let parents know they can't bring their kids in. And that's not ever a good thing. I mean, we don't want to do that unless we have to, but the reality is we don't have a choice. So I think I checked with Michelle last night knowing that she wasn't going to be here. I think we have 84 kids enrolled with an average, we average 60 kids a day that come to our center. And I think we serve about 56 families. So Manning used to have some very good in-home providers, but I honestly don't know, I don't know if we have any right now. We probably do, but I don't think, nothing like we used to. So that makes the childcare center in Manning even more important. You know, I guess I am happy to know that I think the governor is trying to improve daycare in Iowa by, you know, passing, you know, putting out some financial incentives. I think, I was told that I think all of our employees are gonna get like $1,000 or something like that if they've been there a certain amount of time. I think that's coming from the state, I believe. I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'd be happy to answer any questions that you guys might have. I probably couldn't answer them like Michelle could, but I've been the board president for a long time. Not the full 20 years, but close, so.
Kind of when the jobs you inherited, you're there for good.
Oh, yeah, yes, that's right. Hopefully not, but I'm happy to do it because I understand just how, like now we're in the process of hiring a director, and so I know how important that is. Because we have to, it's, I hate to say it, but the director of a childcare center has to be one of the lousiest jobs.
One of them.
If not, certainly has to be one of them, because you got to deal with all the kids. You got to deal with, low compensated employees, and then you got to deal with parents, grandparents. I don't get that many emails, but I do occasionally get emails from parents. I did that one the other day, but that's fine. I don't have any problem with that. I mean, people's children are their most precious thing. They need the peace of mind of knowing that they're being taken care of. So.
Well, we just attended a meeting with Debbie Durham from the Economic Development. Childcare was in part of her conversation. She had kind of also alluded that some of the businesses that support are starting to step up. Some are providing daycare for their own employees. Some are putting money into these daycare. And I think that's something that's going to have to continue. It's got to get subsidized somehow or another. And we have to sit here and look at it. Is it fair for all the taxpayers? But yet, this has been going on for a long period of time. We probably subsidize someone else's children that don't have kids involved now. So, it's, that how that works. But so I think there might be some movement afoot about maybe some businesses starting to step up more to the plate, because finding James and Joe's is the big deal for businesses anymore.
Well,
If
and that's
you
always,
don't have daycare for them.
yeah, that's always been my thing.
Yeah.
With the Carroll daycare, and reducing their,
Yeah.
we don't need to talk about them, but you guys have got, at least you're rent free, you have a building, so you've got to step up on
Leg up
a
on
lot
of them.
Yeah,
A
and
lot.
so, and my thing is that the businesses need to step up.
Mhm.
I mean, for them to have people come to work every day, they've got to have some daycare.
Yeah.
Well, we want to help, but we think they need to help also.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, yeah, yeah. And, we have some, Manning has some pretty successful businesses that have, been pretty, Ruth Odie, when she was alive, she was very charitable to the child care center. And we have some businesses that have been, good supporters of the child care center. But, unfortunately, probably the average business on Main Street struggles, I'd say.
They're
I'd say the typical retail business in small communities struggle. I mean, there's
on a narrow window
there's
too.
businesses that are highly successful in small communities that can afford to be pretty charitable, but unfortunately, a lot of farmers don't consider themselves businesses. And, you know, we've done capital campaigns for, you know, most years, and it's, you know, it's surprising the poor response you get.
Yeah.
I think the last mail out capital campaign, we sent out like 1,400 letters, and I don't even think our response was 1%.
You guys do pretty well down there, though. You know, like the hotel, you know, where that started.
Yeah,
You had
Manning's
support.
fortunate that we have people in the community who are willing to stick their neck out and do things, but
I see you got the tournament grant last year, is that correct?
yes, we've always been successful applying for grants. It seems like most of the grants that we've applied for, we have pretty good, yeah.
So what do you use those dollars
You know, I'd be lying, I'd say. I think we did some stuff with staff. And we might have made some improvements in the building. I know we're looking to replace our floor right now, and we just got a grant from the Community Foundation of Carroll County. A pretty good grant. Or was that the Timmerman? We just got like 13,000. That, I don't think that was the Timmerman. I think it was the Community Foundation.
according to this?
I think we did some stuff with our playground. And I think we used it for numerous things, actually.
Where are you seeing that at? Because I'm seeing zeros.
This would be on what, page 3. Email sheet there.
Warren Timmerman grant was 23,482, so you're seeing.
Yeah.
That's what it says page 1 on it, so it's the second page.
You know, like all those grants are for the most part, brick and mortar, you know, we can't use them for operations.
And
And,
I would assume.
you know, where we really need monies is, you know, to be able to pay our help.
More in operation.
I mean, if we have, you know, you can go to work at Casey's for $12 an hour, I think, you know. I think we start our people out at 9 maybe.
Yeah, that's always been a problem.
And when you think that doesn't include any benefits, it's almost insulting. I hate to say it, but it is.
You have to have a passion and a love for children.
Yeah, if the people that came to work for us didn't have, you know, passion for children, there's no way they come to work here. I don't think. You know, we're also fortunate in that we have, you know, we get high school kids to come and work after school. But, you know, that doesn't help us during the day. It does in the summer, it helps us a lot. But yeah, it's unfortunate we can't wave a magic wand and make all these problems with daycare go away, but you know, the daycare is a huge thing.
It is. It's important.
Yeah, we did, you know, especially now, there's so many places that can't get help. What would it be like if there wasn't daycare? If we didn't have like our child care centers?
Our workforce would
Geez,
feel
how
pretty
much
small.
how much worse would it be?
And you're not the only one that lost their director this year either.
You know, I was told at a meeting the other day that Denison hasn't had a director for a year.
Oof.
The Denison Child Care Center for a year. Their board is managing their child.
Same, that is overseen by the Board of Supervisors. I think they own that building, right?
Yeah.
In Denison. Yep. Well, does anybody have any more questions?
Yeah, have you had any doors with Crawford County as far as they participate?
You know, I've gone to a couple Crawford County board meetings to ask for funds, and they're very cordial and thank you for coming, but that's it. You don't get it.
Do you have,
You know, Manila's getting a child care center now, so maybe Crawford County will support them, hopefully, because they're gonna be challenged. Just like, you know, we're fortunate in Manning that, like I said, this is our 20th year. for 15 years. I mean, we're subsidized by the Veteran Foundation because we don't pay any rent. But we used to be much more heavily subsidized. We'd go to our monthly veteran meetings and it's like, well, the child care center's overdrawn $4,000, $3,000. And they would always make that up for us. But our Veteran Foundation now is not in a position where they can do that. Because the building that we were in used to have a big business in it. And that went out. We used to get like $80,000 of rent a year from that building. And now it's the library, gonna be the library. So the Betterment Foundation has its challenges also.
I think we all do nowadays.
Yeah.
Well, I think from what I've been told, Crawford County doesn't support a lot of things like we do. I've been told that by someone that went over there, they just shot.
Yeah, I mean, you guys can be proud. You've always been very charitable too. I know to a lot of things in the county, that would struggle without your support. I mean, I think you guys have given us $8,500 a year for the last 10 years or more, I think. And we get that without any restrictions, so we can use it for whatever, but we budget for it, so we certainly need it.
The thing is, everybody that comes here has all got good ideas. We got to stretch our dollars too. And, I look at this as part of economic development. So the only thing that bothers me is we're supporting centers, but sometimes I question we should be. Is that fair to the licensed daycares? The home and home. But that's another story for another day.
Yeah, and I guess we should be fortunate there are in-home providers.
It'd be a worse situation if there wasn't.
Because I'm guessing Carroll has a lot of in-home providers, because I'm guessing the Carroll Daycare Center has a waiting list like we do. I'm sure they do.
They do.
And I know that they struggle financially in spite of the fact that, but they have a long waiting list. And I think the businesses in Carroll support the child care center pretty well, but they don't get free rent like we do. So,
The
yeah,
support could be better.
we're all faced with the same challenge, but I'm an insurance adjuster, and I've unfortunately gone into homes where I've had to go in for a claim where they are doing, in-home daycare. And, I'd come out thinking, well, how could anybody bring their child to a place like this for daycare? And I've had that numerous times. I've gone into places, and it's like, it almost makes you cry when you come out of there and think people actually bring their children to a place that has such squalid conditions for child.
I'm sure that part was a license. So
Yeah, that I don't.
Probably not.
That's like, wow. I mean, they're out there though.
yeah.
Yeah, this year, and the last 2 years, probably thank God for all the grandmothers that
Yeah.
taking
that,
care of those kids that can't go to the daycare for that day or 2 days or 3 days, whatever.
oh yeah. And that's one thing that we do is that when we can't take, living in a small community, a lot of people have friends or family or grandmothers, parents that can watch the children. So when we know that we aren't staffed well enough that we can have a full complement of kids, we do send out an email and say, hey, if any of you guys, if your grandparents or parents can watch your kids, that'd free up the spots for those families that don't have people that can watch their children.
Yeah.
So our community's been good about that. So
Does anybody,
15,000?
15,000, that'd be great. Sign us up for that right now.
What you're asking for, I guess.
it is. Well, thank you for coming in on behalf of.
Well, hey,
the-
thank you for the opportunity
Take care.
anytime. I appreciate it. Like I said, we appreciate your past and hopefully continued support.
We're just finalizing the budget probably within the next week.
Oh,
So
really?
we'll know.
Well, good luck with that. Hey, nice to see you again. Thank
Yeah,
you.
take care, Brian.
Yeah. Have a good day. You're,
Alright.
you're opening up your jail today, I heard on the radio
Tomorrow.
this morning.
Today or
Oh, it's
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah, we're finishing up right at the very end.
Good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to item number 6, fiscal year 23 budget, county budget discussion. So really, the only thing we have to discuss would be the maintenance position and the hourly raise. My suggestion would be to go the 5.5 that we did for every other hourly, non-elected, non-union employee. And in fact, I'll make a motion to
I
that.
don't know that we need. a
No, you
motion,
don't
though,
have to do a motion.
No,
Because the things we have to consider are the nonprofits and then the comm center hiring
Yep.
an additional.
So we'll start with the Zach's position first.
Okay.
So,
should we, you know, that's something that can be changed later. Do we want to table that to Courtney's or talk? So, because she is your superior.
what's up? I mean, I'm okay with tabling that or not.
Yeah, it might be better if she was in that discussion, because that's really kind of her employee.
And she can maybe answer some questions. Okay. All right, so then the next discussion will be the full-time position down in the comm center. And I was on Friday and Courtney and I were messing around with the budget a little bit. It is already considered in there. I didn't know how you guys felt as far as bringing on another full-time.
Well, did any of you go down and listen to that video?
No, it didn't.
I have the audio.
What do you think of that, Scott?
Well, I think we don't have any depth down there anyway. If 2 people got sick, I mean, that is critical to everything, and it's not an entry-level job. I mean, I think we need it. It's probably, we've been getting by luckily without having
Running on
a backup.
time.
Yeah, I think it's due. I don't think that there's any bells and whistles to add in that person. I think it's needed.
Yeah, I didn't, hear that's in here. She's got those
Yeah.
assumptions.
I think they made a good case.
Well,
Yeah.
last year when we did it, we would have probably been in favor of doing it last year, but Carroll
We
was
had
not
another
going
player
to.
in the middle
Yeah.
of last year.
But Carroll was not gonna go along with the match.
Now we
that we
know,
don't have that player involved.
and we know exactly what we're getting from them every year. It's not a
Yeah.
variable and negotiable. So now we're on our own.
I think we go forward with that.
I'm all.
I mean, I'm
I'm okay with that.
I'm one that doesn't like to add employees that we don't have to.
I don't
If there's a
either.
need, there's a need.
I think,
Yeah.
And
yeah,
I think it's.
if we had to rate the
point.
importance of that job, it would be up toward the top.
Well, and it's, yeah.
I mean, I guess if you're in
Public
an
safety.
emergency situation, you wouldn't want to call here and go beep, 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 and nobody answered.
Right.
Because we can't fill the
And that
position.
was one of the reasons that, you know, there was a talk about moving the comm center over there. That's one of the reasons I was against that. Because I don't think those people should be help watching prisoners when we've got good citizens out here needing help. And when they've got maybe a fire in Lauderdale and a car wreck down in Manning and a cardiac in Carroll, they got their hands full.
They dual source enough within their own department, let alone helping out another department.
Just as important as this guy right here. You know, making sure that he gets there.
Yeah. So I don't, yeah, that doesn't need a motion or anything. I think we just have to come to general.
Yeah.
agreement.
Consensus,
I'm okay, yeah, I'm. perfect with that.
I'm okay with that, yeah.
The only other thing I was going to mention, so Friday I was in with Courtney and we were kind of messing around with the county budget and we're sitting really well. Our levy look good. I'm just gonna throw out a suggestion here. We don't have to decide on it today, but I want you guys to kind of think about it. So right now, our lost fund is sitting at 1.6, well, let's just say $1,629. What, 1.6?
1,629,000.
You must have had the same conversation I did with her.
So my suggestion, I looked at, if we pulled $200,000 out of that and put it into our budget, it would lower our levies to urban to 4.42 and rural to 7.46. Rural is going to decrease no matter what, but that would, our levies would go back to, I didn't even look how far back it goes, but I would say it'd be 2021 levels. I mean, it would be a savings to the
So
residents.
say the urban again, you said 4.42,
3, 2, 6.
4 point. No, but
No,
what would it,
no.
what would it lower to if we add the 200?
200,000, it would go to 4.30166. And rural would go to 7.3438.
Yeah, those are the same thoughts that I've been having, is
Yeah.
that we've got some room to work here and.
I know we
think
have
it's- I think
projects
it's
coming up,
Fortunate
but
that we can do what we're doing
Well,
and still be able to provide,
Do we foresee anything in the courthouse remodel that won't be covered by American Rescue Plans? As far as
everything
HVAC?
should be.
well, I'm pretty sure there's
everything
going to be.
If,
Yeah.
if we looked at wide open, the whole package, I think, was that 4344 mean, is that the number you guys
I
recall?
can't remember.
It's in that ballpark.
Yeah.
Can figure it
And
out.
we're sitting at 3.9 probably available. So we had $500,000 that we're gonna have to not do in tax. We've got some things that we can maneuver around. And there might be some things that we may not do right now.
But my question is going forward with it, will that cover everything from office furniture or any new needs that we have during the remodel process?
I don't think we're gonna know that all until we get the final.
No, I'm not saying-
Yeah,
I'm totally for
and I
this, but I
really
think-
haven't seen
I
any
think-
details on that either, Scott, because that can add up very quickly.
Okay.
Yes,
That might be for another budget.
yes. Okay, that's,
Right.
Yeah.
But I think, as far as, that, I think what we're gonna look at American Recovery, I think we'll get our HVAC done. We'll probably get our 2 offices relocated and probably a boardroom, and we'll be structured there.
so back
I
to
think
70, I'm in
that's-
favor
I
of
think that's-
200,000 move from local
Well,
options.
I'm just bringing it up for a discussion.
Well,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the truth,
I
we've
think
been doing that the last, how many years? We've been moving some over.
Yep.
And that was a discussion I had with Courtney too, because of the way I had figured it out. And we can't, whatever we do is gonna affect both. We can't do just the one.
Mhm.
Because if we could have did it with just one to lower the urban back to what it was last year, we only could take $70,000 to do that. So basically what she'll do is, I think we're gonna take the local option, put it into our supplemental fund, which will then lower the taxes.
Put it in supplemental, right?
Supplemental, which will lower both funds,
Because rural was going down either way. Now it's just gonna go down a little bit.
because they got more valuation and our urban valuations went down.
To back up to your question, this is including roof, mechanical, electrical, cellular, ADA parking, everything under the sun that it came through, and it was 4.8.
So there's stuff like that we could probably put on, maybe the roof.
It was a good
driveway.
roadmap.
Huh?
It's a good roadmap to things that can
It
happen.
is, and we kind of, as I guess, I thought we were trying to paint a roadmap for the next
10 years.
5 years to 10 years.
Okay.
I didn't think we were painting a roadmap for
No,
next
I
year.
don't,
months.
I don't think it's not my intention that we do it all at one time. There's no way we can do it. I think our priorities again is HABC, our 2 offices and the boardroom. HVAC.
I'll let you two figure that out.
HDM.
Ventilation.
High definition.
And then you just will throw electrical in there too, because that's one thing I wasn't expecting.
Yeah, that one surprised me.
The what?
The
Electrical,
electrical.
so we're gonna have to change some electrical components.
Yeah, it doesn't. I suppose, when you're doing this and you got electrical that needs to be upgraded.
You're already in there.
Yeah,
I thought they would go with totally a sub panel and just for the heating and cooling and bypass. And this is whatever's here, leave it. I don't know. I need to talk to the electrical guy, why his thoughts are that.
And then here's the other thing is that, like Courtney said, if she gets the treasurer's office, really, the only thing that needs to be done, I worked in there is probably the counter more than anything. As far as taking that wall out there, she said that she just would leave it in there, so that way she can keep her voting back there separate. So if we do as minimal changes up there, will also affect that bottom dollar.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's things we can kind of steer right there.
But also, I think one of the things that we need to look at is operation. things operate differently now than the design for 1965 was designed for. Employee size of employees we have and the things that they do are different, way different than what they were doing then, so. And we need to consider, try to, I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, but.
File
we sure-
cabinets
we-
are gonna become obsolete.
What's that?
File cabinets will become obsolete at some
I
point.
think that electronics is gonna take over more and more.
I assume in this budget, she's also got the scanning in this budget, doesn't she?
Both of them, I
I
think.
think.
That I wasn't aware, that I do
I
not
think
know.
that may be in there, I'm not sure.
I,
I can
Well, you
check.
know,
What was
Or the
that?
The
auditor.
scanning
The
project.
For the
Recorder.
recorder and audio.
I think,
Oh, I think that's in there.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she-
I thought it was.
And I think that's important, 'cause that's the first step, part of our remodel.
Well, yeah, and actually, that's COVID related. I mean, if you wanted to, you could.
Yep.
you could
Those
use
dollars
COVID
should-
down.
We can pull
I mean,
the trigger on
They're
that
gonna be gone,
anytime.
they're gonna be gone anyway.
But I mean, we can pull the trigger on that anytime. We were
Yeah.
waiting for them to come back with a consolidated quote,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I have no problem dipping into the loss a little bit, or if we need to, or I
Well,
guess it's 6 of one, half of another, you take it
I think we've been
from
doing
there, and then we
right
have
at
to pull from loss
400,000
some
with
other
it.
time, but.
We were all set mental health with it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I mean, so I'm willing to do 200,000. I think that's kind of bad that we don't have tax for mental health, but we're eating it up with additional employee and everything else.
But we're, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I feel we're not kicking.
We're in good
the cans
shape.
Down the road. I think
Well,
we're on cruise control for a while now, I
Yeah.
think.
let's put it this way, we're more fortunate in some counties.
Exactly.
I don't see it in her budget.
You know, she might be figuring it yet this year.
Yeah, I don't see it in there under the auditor.
You know, she may have thought about taking it out of,
Well,
the COVID.
Straight out of the
she may be
rescue
thinking
plan.
yet this year yet, too.
Good point. So it was gonna be,
Yeah, it could be. That could be.
but yeah, that would be a budget.
Well, we can bring that up when she comes back too, so.
Yep, we're gonna have that discussion yet, for
Yep.
sure.
I miss her already.
All right,
Should we-
let's go ahead and
should we
move on
call-
to item
should we
number,
call her?
huh?
That'll
Yeah.
do the direct
Definitely we
debit.
need to discuss
I think
that.
it was.
That's what we're gonna go to, number 7, fiscal year 23 nonprofit funding requests. You guys should have that sheet in front of you. I do think Courtney plugged these in already for their asking. I think the first one, St. Anthony Regional Hospital, needs to be recategorized as public health.
Well, is there anything that as far as asking, that we want to do any different than?
You know,
I mean, give them compared to last year?
Region 12 has increases, but I think we all agree that,
Yeah, those were up.
yeah. CADC,
2,400, that's cost of business basically now, years time.
I don't have any problem with that.
Foster grandparents, that's fine, that's
Static.
static.
Same.
Elder Bridge is up.
That's based off of the cap, correct?
The request is the same though, but what we've given has,
No, we always give them what they're asking.
sorry, I was on the wrong one. You're correct.
And that is one that I was, when I first started, I said, you don't argue it because your return is so much better. And I do agree with that, because you see there.
Yeah.
Family crisis, they're asking 10, we'd asked 10 last year, we give them 6 this year, or this current year. She does, and she always provides a good case study or argument.
I'm gonna say we stay at 6.
Okay.
Anybody else?
What's somebody else's thoughts?
Other than Region 12,
No, I mean, family crisis.
Oh,
You were just gonna answer it all in general, right?
yeah, other than Region 12, and the ones that are based off of capita, which I believe they're the only ones that use that formula.
Yeah.
I'm okay with whatever we did last year, with maybe the exception of the 2,400 extra to CABC. What's that?
I would agree with you.
You mean you're okay with CADC?
The CABC, it's extra 2,400 there, and then the Region 12's increases, which are all based off per capita, so. And we had a long talk about that. All the counties and the players were involved with that one, so.
And you're okay with Elder Bridge?
Other than that, I think whatever we gave last year, I'd like to try to hold everybody to the same standard we did last year.
Okay,
Historical Society?
Historical Society actually asked for less.
No,
No, they asked for 500 more.
they asked for 4,000, we did 3,500 last year.
Yeah, last year they requested 3,500.
But their ask was 4,000.
Yeah.
So that would still be budget.
I mean, we've given them 4,000 in the past upon that request, so,
Oh, yeah, and that was because, but they lowered those last year on COVID. I think.
yeah.
I,
I'm okay with giving them back, giving them the 4 again, I guess.
yeah, I am too. 'Cause they,
Manning Daycare,
Well, real quick, community concern, their ask actually went
down.
down. We're just gonna do the 2,900.
Yeah, no point in giving them any more than what they request.
No, I agree.
so we're gonna leave the daycares as last year then?
Yeah,
And community concerned that they do it that 3 months rent. That's why it went down.
There was something to do with it.
Manning Main Street.
What about, go up one? What about the daycare?
Main daycare.
Yeah.
I'm okay with the 8,500 like we did last year.
Which Pop would donate to them.
What's that?
Oh, I think he probably does more than you think.
I was gonna say it's not in here.
I'm sure. it's-
Their fundraising total was $1,333.33, and it's been that way forever. I was looking at their,
I don't know, yeah.
No, I don't have a problem. I think it's obviously you made a compelling case.
Yeah, there's probably some that goes on there that we probably
Yeah.
not privy to.
okay, so we need to have the discussion about Manning Main Street project. We haven't. But I will say there has been some emails going around, just like with anything else, if you give one entity money, the others are gonna come asking. So I do know, was it Coon?
Yeah, I'm sure they're gonna be wanting
sending
on
a
the
letter.
conversation.
We haven't done it.
I'm okay with not doing it. We didn't do it last year.
We haven't done it in 2 years.
I mean, we did when they first got started and got up and running, and now they're running.
It's tricky
I
because
mean-
it is economic development, but
I mean, CADC covers them also, correct?
Well, yeah.
Not,
but
not,
this-
not Main Street project, but they cover the city.
Main Street Manning. They came to us originally. They've done a good job down there, and I don't know if anybody's been down there at any meetings. They have gotten youth involved. They do a very good job. But we were funding them for several years, more than these 3 years that we did. I guess I feel there's a point on some of these projects, there has to be a cutoff.
Yeah.
Now, I can see why they're coming, they're wanting to use us as part of their match for funding. And that 2,500 is probably doing that. But
It didn't come across that way.
no,
I didn't hear anything about a match
Lever-
or
lever-
a leverage
Yeah.
option.
You know, and you go back to the very beginning of this, the 18 budget, you know, we budgeted $2,500 per year for 3 years. That was their initial ask.
no, I think that's the second one.
That was the second round.
I think so. I think we had one before that too.
I can't recall that.
I have. I can see some justification and yet at the same time, I say it's time to, because I agree. At
Well, I
some
think,
point in time, these other communities will
well,
come,
I
and
think
I
it's
have no
only-
problem with
it's
that.
only fair to Breda or Linton or
Yes.
Coon Rapids, or it's only fair.
Yep.
And if we're gonna do that, then we have to look at the money we give CADC, because they are kind of a wing of their help to help them in certain ways
They
too.
are the umbrella.
They're the umbrella that catch all these communities. That's how I look at the funding for that. So why would we not consider, if we're gonna do it, let's funnel it through there and let them step out and help if they need to, or if they have a specific need where they can leverage, come and make your presentation, make your case, and we'll discuss it at
I
that
think
time.
we've always been pretty good about that.
I would say, let's take that.
I-
What we did last year too.
Yeah.
Draw a line for that. All right, Carroll Library, we have how many more years?
That is, no, those are just.
No, the 5,000 per year for 5 years. It ends, oh, here it is. It ends fiscal year 23. So this
Oh,
will be
okay,
our
that one
last.
we have to.
Yeah, this is the last one.
That's leveraged money also there.
Right.
Keep soil and water the same.
If I know what I know, we never got that.
Libraries obviously have to stay the same. The final one would be Adam Schwer's Highway 30 Coalition that asked for $5,000 from the local option sales tax to conduct that survey. right?
Snyder study, yeah.
And I will say, I think that's one that we need to, but I think we need to caution on this, where we run this money through. We may have to run that through CADC.
I think as,
John kind of
as
questioned.
our county attorney had some questioning on how this funding was going to work here, and I kind of have a tendency to agree with him. There again, I have, I would not like to do it through us. If we're going to do it, we need to find a wing to do it through. And CADC is probably our likely option.
So question, Dean, if this is for the survey or for an engineering firm, would it be a one-time only ask?
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
So I think we need to make that clear to them too.
Yes.
If we do. approve it.
That's correct.
and I don't know, Dean, do you know how they've done with the other? What is Carroll done, you know? We're gonna have.
The community?
We're gonna have city.
No,
Carroll
the
do it.
Carroll?
city of Carroll.
I don't know what.
Their budget's not final yet. I haven't heard it. I'll be at the meeting tonight, but they don't talk about it.
They don't talk about.
Well, they do them on.
Itemized.
on
Well,
off-
you know,
off
I
days.
guess. You know, I don't know, whether I've really ever had heard the Highway 30 Coalition talk so much about cities as counties.
I think he was gonna check with that. Thought the plan originally was gonna ask counties and cities and their economic development. I thought that's what they would do.
Well, yeah, and I think it was pretty much every player across the state
And they were gonna go
was
out
looking at.
Yeah,
and private.
yeah, and even the counties that have got 4-lane done completed already. I
Yes,
think they were gonna hit those guys up.
Hit them
It's
up.
gonna- Yeah,
anyway,
it's a $90,000 project, I believe.
yeah, I don't remember that number.
And if it doesn't happen, we don't send the money, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, I think it's gonna happen. I think there's a lot of interest in that.
So I say we leave it in.
Leave it in?
Leave the amount in of the the methodology of how we do it may change.
Okay.
But I think the amount we need in the budget.
We may do it as a pass-through, ran through CAC. That's because of this
And we need
other
to
bullshit.
talk to Kimberly about that.
Well, it's called spade a spade.
Okay.
You know, I think that, you know, and kind of talking with these, but talking about the budget, you know, with the,
Okay.
Scott, the number, man.
Yeah.
So how much are our raises gonna cost us? You know, that's a significant amount of money and, you know, I think we can do it comfortably.
It was
You know, I think.
a little over 400.
Yeah, it's all the same.
400,000.
I guess we-
Yeah. I don't have it
Yeah, yeah.
right now. I don't have the budget. I asked Courtney what the total salaries were and then I said times 5.5.
But I think that's great that we can do that and, no,
Without,
now as long
without
as-
increasing our levy.
yeah, now if we can get the legislature to let our lost money alone.
Mhm.
Well,
Hmm.
that's one thing we don't want to happen because they're gonna have their fingers in it. We're not gonna get back.
Well, I can't imagine the cities. You know, I'm
It's
sure
gonna be
that
hard on us. It's going to cripple the city.
it's gonna cripple the cities.
I think
Yes,
it will. I think
absolutely.
it'll hit them.
What
a
percentage
lot
do they
harder,
get?
you know,
What is
than
that
us.
formula
Oh,
of lost? Because I know we get a certain percentage and then
The school district gets some money out of that too.
is there a formula to that percentages?
yeah, and I can't tell you what it is.
Do all taxing entities get that? ISU extension office?
No, I know.
I don't think they, I think just the
The school
three.
was the sixth penny and then the seventh penny was the loss. Our state tax on a car, you only pay 5%. But I think the 6 cent goes to the school and then the 7
Seventh
cent
is
is
the
what
loss.
gets divided up among us, I think.
Okay, yeah, you're probably right.
I think that's what.
Okay. Well, we got through those. Let's go to committee reports and I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I received a letter from DGR Engineering. I'm gonna run it by Zach, but did anybody else receive this? Jeannie, you might be able to refer to this too. Are they doing some work on that water treatment plant south of Manning? This is the first steps, of this thing. I'm hoping they sent this to Zach, because he might more say into this, but they sent a letter asking if there's any interference with, there's maps too of any of the stuff that they're gonna be doing, but there's bullet points of what they're gonna be improving. So I'll send that to, I'll take that to Zach after our meeting, but I kind of wanted to bring it to your guys as a point about a new water treatment plant.
For rural water?
West Central Rural.
Yeah.
Out of Maine.
So I just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention.
So what are they asking? If there's any,
If there's gonna be any conflicts or anything like that with this construction or things that they're proposing.
That's
I thought you were talking this
Yeah,
Zach. You're
obviously-
talking secondary road
Yeah,
Zach.
secondary roads, like, he's gonna know way more than I will. I looked at it like, oh, okay.
I don't think there'd be any conflict. with
it's back on their property. I don't know why it should be any conflict period.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm gonna send it around so you guys can all read it. If you guys want copies, I can get copies made too. So last week, I went to the CUDC presentation with Director Debbie Durham. She did a fantastic job discussing all the economic development projects going on, what she foresees in the future, and her support behind Governor Reynolds in some areas that they're doing improvements on. Then I also attended the statewide supervisor meeting. There was some good conversations. I think the most impactful and most important to me was probably the legislative update, being able to talk back and forth, discussing some things that are very detrimental to local government. And it kind of felt like the state's kind of taken over local control in more ways than one. Then I did come here Friday and Saturday and walked through the jail. And I've spoken with Shive Hattery in reference to the jail. There's been an email circulating about the AC and things like that. You guys were all very well aware of.
For the server room, I haven't seen any emails, but for the server room.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what is the conclusion?
Well, it has to happen no matter what. There's a 2 to 3 week delay if we had ordered it right away. if we waited, we didn't know for Shive Hattery to come back, and we're gonna discuss final payment with Shive Hattery on who's gonna be overseeing that.
We're trying to get them to come back.
Yeah.
Thing is,
That's fine, good enough.
yeah, it's,
Gene and I were trying to set up, we actually want to meet face to face. They had discussed next Tuesday, but our board meeting is full. We have 1 hour to get done with our business, and then we go into the Stevens group. So next week doesn't work. So we might have to have a special meeting. We don't know yet, but I sent an email back.
thing is, we had a phone conference on Tuesday between her and I and Sheriff and Dalton and Mike Lewis.
No, Mike Lewis was not on that.
Oh, that's right, it was just big.
So that conference call. And then started working on reading that assessment that I'll have to read 7,000 times.
Just once.
Just once. This week, tonight, I have Wesco and Denison. Pending maybe meeting with St. Anthony's on Tuesday. And I'm trying to attend the legislative forum on Saturday. And that is it.
Okay, I'll go next. Tuesday, last Tuesday, I attended the CABC with Debbie Durham. Very good presentation. And I think some local points were made by local entities, and I think she was very receptive to it. And on Wednesday, I attended a WIOA, or Western Iowa Workforce via Zoom. We've had a little change in status. We finally have been moved to a provisional. We've covered a lot of ground. The legislative people that I've talked to have kind of put some pressure on, and I think we're finally starting to make a little headway with them. And then the bad part is, as soon as we get done with this yearly report, we're gonna have to turn around and file another one, and we don't even have directions really good on the first one. So that's gonna be an ongoing battle, but I think we are making some headway with that. Well, no, I tried to attend the statewide supervisor meeting. That didn't go well, but we'll leave that there. That's all I had last week. And then this upcoming week, again, I have a Zoom meeting on Wednesday, which is almost a weekly occurrence now with the Iowa Workforce. As we try to inchworm our way around. Then on Thursday, unless I have a family thing to do, I'll be trying to attend the Region 12 meeting on Thursday. If not, they have a quorum and they'll be able to continue. So, and then I'm going to try to do the legislative thing on Saturday.
Look, it's Thursday for Stephanie and I also. Is that policy council?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's just the executive.
Gotcha. Thank you. Last week, I had RSVP and foster grandparents on Tuesday. We have you here that we're going to approve funding. Friday was second district board directors for the judicial. Tonight is Carroll City Council meeting, and Thursday I have decategorization partnership for protecting children. And I have radio and newspaper, unless somebody wants to volunteer. Any discussion?
Okay, Tuesday, I would have liked to go on to Debbie Durham's thing, but I had made a previous commitment, and so Tuesday I was tied up with doing scholarship interviews on ISAC scholarships. We did them by Zoom. We interviewed 12 kids. I will say from being on both spectrums of being involved with juvenile detention center to the scholarships, I think we're still in a good position because a lot of these kids have really got their act together, and there's some very bright kids out there. So we did select those last Tuesday, and then they went to the ISAC court on Friday. And then Tuesday afternoon, I had a phone conference call with Beatty, Stephanie, and the sheriff in Dalton. Wednesday, signed documents, audit and opportunities. Thursday, attended the statewide supervisors meeting. A couple of meetings were very good. First two in regard to carbon stuff I wasn't too enthused about. I was actually kind of surprised they had both positions there. Actually, didn't give the last one much chance to speak yet. Or answer.
But they're not going through Carroll County.
No, it has nothing to do with it. Tuesday this week, I think there's supposedly another CADC meeting. Friday is the Yes Center board meeting, and I'm probably trying to attend legislative forum on Saturday.
I'll be there too, am I? I'll be at the legislative forum Tuesday.
Okay, I can go next. Last week, had more conversations with Stevens Group at the state supervisors meeting on Thursday. That's pretty well been covered. I thought it was pretty good. Some of the networking that I did with the Webster County supervisors will probably pay dividends in the future, I think.
Does matter.
More
No.
watershed,
On what?
more of your watershed counties, right?
Well, not really so much there as they, and I heard this before, they spend this much on Board of Health, on public health.
Yep.
Zero. That includes environmental health, that includes home care aides, and that includes their public health nurse.
I couldn't remember, was that a $400,000 or $800,000? Do you remember what their budget was?
Well, I think it was over $1 million.
Was it over $1 million and
Yeah.
they get all grants?
Yeah, they use grants to pay for everything. So it's a little bit complicated up there, and Scott Jacobs, he just called me and I gotta get back to him, but he called me last week. We had a discussion about their ambulance system up there is broken up in Calhoun County. They're having some real issues. I sent him to Jamie to get some answers. But we started talking about county home care, county public health up in Calhoun County. They work with Webster County to get grant dollars, but it seems like they pay somebody to, they help support somebody to write grants up in Webster City, but it seems like the grant writer likes to write more grants for Webster City than it does for Calhoun County. So if you read through your assessment, that is one of the options that, that
Is a
we
regional
can
grant
pursue.
writer,
Yes,
regional
I mean, it could,
regionalization of much we can.
yeah, you can either go a region with counties that surround you. You can go to the Preparedness Coalition, which includes I think about 8 counties this way. So you can go with them, but if you could hire somebody and it costs you $20,000 and you got 5 other counties with you, you're paying somebody $100,000 to write grants. Then your $800,000 goes away. That's pretty attractive.
Absolutely.
And so, and John will cover that next week. So he'll have a good grasp of that. And I'm pretty sure that's the way he's thinking that.
Just for scheduling purposes, how long do you think that meeting will go? It
Well, I
starts
have
at
no
10?
idea. It depends upon how many questions there are.
Yeah, how in depth he wants to go.
I didn't book
Yeah,
anything for the
I
rest
don't
of the
think
day.
it'll take long to explain it, but I think that the follow-up.
Is this just gonna be for us, or is there gonna be also other participants involved? in it?
It's gonna be a regular meeting on Tuesday because it's President's Day on Monday.
What I'm getting at is you like the hospital or other.
It's a public meeting.
Okay.
So,
Whoever wants to attend can attend.
yeah, that's why we're having it out there. I think there's gonna be quite a few people.
Oh, a reminder, and to the public, thank you for bringing that up. Our meeting will not be at the courthouse next Monday. We will be closed. Our meeting will be Tuesday out at the Conservation Education Center on the Swan Lake.
Right.
Thanks for.
I forgot all about that.
What else we got here? So this week I've got a conservation board meeting tomorrow night. Trying to put together a meeting with St. Anthony Regional Hospital with Stephanie and myself and Becky Benami, hopefully on Wednesday. I think that was gonna work for you, right?
Actually, any of them worked. I just picked one. Can't do Thursday, I guess.
So that's it for me.
All right, Ben, is there any comments online?
No
Okay.
comments online.
Thank you.
Can you
Thank
make that-
you.
Can you make that bigger?
That's it.
All right, if not, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
And moved in second, any discussion? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye.